welcome back, and it's Crystal Star back again from the Starlight Work Circle, and we're looking at the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing again. And I don't know exactly where we're going with this. I've had so many amazing questions. I've got one, oh I can't get the paper now, 2, 3, nearly 4 sheets of questions and information about this, so I have no idea how many videos this is going to be. Sorry about the sound quality if the sound quality is not great. The microphone did finally arrive, but it didn't fit the it didn't work in the camera, and I've had nothing but issues and technical issues all day, so I'm hoping the technology is going to hold up and get at least one video out. If I don't answer your question or I ask it wrong, let me know in the comments below and I will try and re-ask it. But this is going to be I don't know how many videos. I'm going to record them all now and then I'll put them out as soon as they're edited, so let's get on with it. Now, first of all, I do want to look at the spiritual aspects of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship, because I was asked a question about, was the relationship planned or was it used in an opportunistic way? Now, I don't know whether that was a question about the relationship or whether that was a question about the white hats using the situation between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard in an opportunistic way. I'm going to take it the way it was phrased as, was the relationship between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard planned, or was it used in an opportunistic way? Because I did do a read on the was Johnny Depp, did the white hats use the trial, and I got that they were involved, but they had no idea that it was going to be as big as it was, and they only jumped on it when the trial started to garner so much worldwide coverage. And I do want to say that Spirit knew that that was going to happen, because if you remember, right at the very, very beginning, I did get that something was going to happen on that date. I don't think I wrote the date down, but I did get that something was going to happen on that particular date. Let me see if I've got it written down. No, I didn't. I've not written it down, but I did say right at the beginning, I was specifically asked to, something special was going to happen on that date, and apart from the swearing in of the jury, it did that was the date that the trial started, and of course that's how I was drawn specifically to it, because I'm not normally involved in any kind of Hollywood thing or anything like that. So yeah, so Spirit knew this was going to happen. And I do want to say as well, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, before we are reincarnated, we set out a soul plan, who we're going to meet, what's going to happen, and we don't always have to follow that plan exactly, obviously, but most of the time we do. And I do want to say that Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's souls agreed to their connecting and what was going to happen before they came here. I don't know whether they knew it was going to take such a huge role in the awakening process, but I do get that they would have had to agree to that beforehand, and there would be a reason for that as well. I also do want to say that although we all want to see it, please understand she will get her karma. I believe she's getting her karma now. I believe she's still on the run. We'll probably have a look at that later on. I believe she's still on the run and she's run out of money and nobody's helping her. Whether she's been caught or not now, I don't know. I don't know whether I looked into that in the last video. I'm pretty sure I did. But anyway, she's receiving her karma, or she will receive her karma one way or the other. Now, so I do want to have a look into the question, was this relationship planned, or was it used in an opportunistic way? in terms of the black hats, they didn't know it was going to be as big as it was. I've looked into that already. In terms of spiritually, no, it was planned. It would have definitely been planned, and I do know that a lot of light workers do get, and I'm not saying Johnny Depp is or isn't a light worker, that's not for me to say, but a lot of light workers do come into contact with narcissists. And my story, oddly enough, is very similar to Johnny's in that I was brought up with narcissists, but then I had a relationship with a narcissist as well. And having a relationship with a narcissist is actually very healing, because it brings all of that pain back up. It does cause pain, of course it does, but it helps you re-examine the experience from childhood and reprocess that and release all the negative energy around that. I'm not saying anybody wants this, but on a soul level, that pain does push you forward and help push you into getting into a space where you can move forwards. And I know Johnny's moved forward because I know he's been in touch with his soul family. There was also something sent to me. I don't know whether this is true or not. I don't know whether the person who sent it to me knows if it's true or not. But there was an article, a blind item that reads, "This B-list mostly movie actress has already spoken to a lawyer." Sorry, this was in January 2015. I don't know when they got married. I have no idea at all. But it says, "This B-list movie actress has already spoken to a lawyer. She wants power of attorney over the A-list's mostly movie actor she calls her boyfriend. The lawyer said it would be much easier if they were married. Look out for a quickie wedding and then watch out because the actor will never be the same again." Now, like I say, I've not checked the dates. That's what I was saying. But if that was true, then that sounds pretty right. But obviously, as soon as she met him, she would have been after his money, because as far as I understand, she's gay. Not bisexual, but as I understand, she's gay. But I'm sure you want me just to ask the cards. Was this planned, or was this opportunistic, this relationship between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard? Right, from what I'm seeing here, there is nothing here to suggest that it was planned at all. I'm getting, there's a struggle here, like a personal struggle, and the judgment card and working on it. I get that either Johnny or both Johnny and Amber were struggling quite a bit when they met. Obviously, when they met, she saw an opportunity that obviously she didn't express. But I don't think she knew, from what I'm seeing here, I don't think she knew that it was going to work. The more it did seem to work, the better it seemed to be. But I just got a sense that he kind of, when he saw her, his soul was kind of enlivened or excited. I get that he'd recognised on some level that he had a soul connection with Amber Heard, and I get that that's what I guess that that's why he kind of jumped into it. I also get that obviously on some subconscious level I also get that on a subconscious level he also recognised that he was very much looking at similar traits that he'd seen in childhood. I don't know whether that was conscious or subconscious, but that's why he stayed. I don't think she planned it, But I think when she recognised her opportunity, she dived on it. She knew what she was doing when she went into it. I'm not getting that she actually had fallen in love with him or any affection for him. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. It may be that he awakened some emotion in her, but it was very short-lived, very slight and very short-lived. Obviously, I'm assured that narcissists do feel emotion. I have lost all belief that that is true, but I am assured that they do actually feel emotion. That was quite interesting. That was very interesting. Right, let's get on to the next question because we've got lots. So, there was a lot of questions about that. I can't say his name. Is it Deuters? Deuters? Johnny's assistant. I'll just call him Johnny's assistant from now on. It will be easier. Now, I was asked about the Stephen, is it, Deuters' kick text, where, because I had to look it up because I knew there were loads and loads and loads of texts throughout the trial, and I wasn't, to be honest, paying strict attention to which text was which. But apparently, was it on the plane that she said that he kicked her in the back, and she'd sent the text to Deuters, to Johnny's assistant, and he'd said sorry that had happened, or he like confirmed it was real or something. I don't know how, whether he was there or not, or whatever had happened. I did read the text, but I've forgotten now. But when I actually looked into it to find out which text the Deuters texts were, the first thing that came up was that he'd said that the text had been doctored, heavily doctored. He'd said so. There was, and this was on the internet. This was not secret. That he'd claimed that the texts were doctored. I think a lot of this is about the Amber Heard fans using this, and I absolutely do want to look into this Amber Heard fan phenomenon, because there's so many anomalies around that. I'm not saying there are no Amber Heard supporters, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is there's a lot of very weird stuff going on there. I just get a very unsettling feeling about it. I also want to say, actually, I don't think, apart from these Amber Heard fans, I'm not seeing that anybody is thinking that Johnny's an abuser. I mean, I do know that if you've ever been in a relationship with a narcissist, they do make you crazy. They make you literally crazy. And if he had lashed out, and I'm not saying I believe that he hit her, I don't believe that he hit her or kicked her. If he did, it would be because she'd made him, because we saw the stuff that she was doing. It does make you crazy. I've been there. I know what that feels like. I'm not excusing any kind of retaliative violence. Obviously, that's already been discussed, hasn't it? Because they push you purposely into these states so they can steal your energy. That's the point of what they do. That's why they do it. They purposely cause you to be upset. Now, whether that's conscious or subconscious, I don't know, but they do. But on the other hand, wasn't that just before just when she says that he kicked her, wasn't that the day before she wore that backless dress on the red carpet with no sign of injury on her back? And a kick in the back would cause you an injury, unless it was just a slight shove, I guess. But then that's not what she said or implied. Let's just do a quick read on these Deuters texts then, and just have a read. And this, particularly these kick kick texts. I'm getting a very unsettling feeling about this. I feel that they were just, I believe what Deuters said, they were just doctored. Downright lied. It's a downright lie. I'm not saying there were no texts, but I'm getting what he was saying. I am getting what he was saying here. This was, they were heavily doctored. There were some texts, but what was shown was not what was actually written. I get that she did this because she saw her narrative falling apart. Now, I don't know when this is, obviously. I know you all know more about the details than I do. I get that she felt she was losing and people weren't believing her, so she had to turn it round. I'm getting that he's absolutely telling the truth. They were just heavily doctored. Did they mention a kick at all, though? Because I don't believe that kick happened. I'm getting from it didn't happen. It did not happen. I know there was another incident on the plane, wasn't there? I don't know whether it was that trip or another trip, and I've got another question about that. But let's have a look around. Let's just focus on this for now. Let's ask the question. Was there anything about a kick mentioned in the text, in the real text? Let's shuffle again. Was there anything about a kick mentioned in the real, original text? I'm getting no, but let's have. Oh, I get. She must have known before that she was going to do this. I get that. It's like the videos, isn't it? She didn't know whether she was going to use them, but she wanted them as backup just in case. She set these texts up. I don't think he said that. I think she got him to say something else beforehand and then mix them up a little bit. I don't know how, but I get that. Yeah, she'd set this up beforehand because she knew she was walking away. She was preparing. She had a wonderful idea about how to get her hands on that money, how to manifest that money. Because I know she tried a lot of other things before, hadn't she? Like that just said she wanted the power of attorney or something. Let me just ask quickly, does anybody actually believe those texts? I mean, real people. Do any real people, human beings, believe that that text was... Okay, we're asking the wrong question. I just got 60-40, but I get what they're saying. I've asked the wrong question. I asked, do any real people believe the text was real? Do any real people, because the text and the kick are two different things. The text could be real. People could believe the text were real, but not believe the situation occurred. Yeah. So let's ride it back to the real point, the crux of the question, which is, do any people believe that he did actually kick her on the plane? Let's see what we get to that. I am actually surprised, but some people actually do. They're giving me the impression here that I'm getting the impression here there really are Amber Heard supporters, genuine people, not just bots or paid saboteurs or whatever, but real people. And they're saying about 30% of the people who are watching or involved with this or know anything about this, 30% of the people actually do truly believe. So yeah, you're right, I would never have guessed that. I would never have guessed that. About 30% of the people involved in watching or involved in this trial actually do believe that he kicked her. And that coming out was a good thing. On that basis, please remember that means 70% of the people watching or involved or having anything to do with this believe that the kick didn't happen. How many of those 30% that believe that the kick might have been real believe that it was abusive of Johnny Depp? Because most people who have experiences of narcissists know they make you crazy, they make you do crazy things. Most know that Amber's lying, generally as a whole. Most know that Amber's lying. I'm not getting as clear an answer here as to the other question. And most know that Amber Heard is a bully, let's say. I think very many are struggling with finding an answer for that. That's why I'm not getting a clear answer. So that was very interesting. There you go. Right, I think we've got time to fit in one last question, and then I'm going to start a new, I've got so many pieces of paper, and then I'm going to start a new video, because I know there's no way this is be like a 3-hour video, I think, otherwise. Let me just ask one more question. Right, okay, now this is a big one, so I'm going to carry on till the end of this question. Now, do you remember when he was on the plane and she had that recording of him throwing up? I was asked the question, was he drugged? Because we know from the house in, oh, I can't remember what it's called again, House in Habit, you know which one I mean, don't you? From that interview we got that she was drugging people. So the question came up, was she drugging him? Which would explain him throwing up in the plane. Now I know none of us are surprised that Hollywood people are taking copious amounts of cocaine and marijuana and alcohol, etc, etc, and the rest of it, etc, etc, right? But that's no surprise. But if she was drugging him with something else, surely that would complicate his drug intake as it is, and it could certainly cause that kind of agony and pain on the plane if she's giving him drugs and then stopping, and then, do you know what I mean, like getting him hooked and then stopping, or whatever. It would make him ill, it would make him crazy, and let's face it, that was obviously her purpose to begin with, to try and get the power of attorney. And then she tried to, maybe, well, I'm making assumptions here, I'm not doing a read on this, but certainly at some point she tried to get him to commit suicide, and she wouldn't give him a huge big knife, would she? But I've not done a read on that, so that was an assumption. But, so the question was, was she drugging him? Now, why have we got the love card coming out here? Was she drugging him? Let's have a look. Was she drugging him? I hope I can explain that card. Sorry, my main camera just cut out just then. I hope, so if it was a bit weird, then that's why. Yes, she was drugging him. That's definitely what I'm getting here. This was all about her wanting to fight and him not always complying. Obviously, she had a deeper motivation behind it. There was always a plan, but obviously the two plans at some point kind of tied together, and she saw the kind of opportunity to make him, to trigger him even more, so she could get the argument, she could get fed, she could, and that obviously makes her happy, trigger him into that so she can get that off him, but also at the same time her other plan. Yeah, I'm absolutely definitely here. There's definitely too much fight and struggle in here for it to be anything else. It was an idea of hers that she kind of fell in love with. That made her very happy, indeed. So, there was another question tied to this one. I'll just do this one more question. The other question tied to this was, what? Now, we know she was drugging other people. Well, no, we don't know. It was just from the article. We're assuming that she was. Certainly, I got from there that she was drugging Johnny Depp. Was she drugging other people? Let's have a look at that. There we get again the love card. This is her thing. I was just told this is her thing. It's her power trip. It's her big power trip. It's the way that she gets her energy. She loves doing this. So absolutely, yeah. Yes, she did. And she did she did drug that woman in the In-House Habit article. I know I said that the article was staged, but that doesn't mean that the information was staged. The article could have been not In-House Habit. I did it in a separate video. I got the In-House Habit you know, sincere, but the information that came in, there was no Gia, or if there was a Gia, that wasn't Gia, it was the White Hats. And the person in that, she did drug the person in that, and yes, she did drug other people as well. Who was the guy that she went with? I can't remember his name. I've got another question about him that I'm going to be getting to in the next video. We might actually get this done in 2 videos. What was his name? Oh, Elon Musk. That's why. If Elon Musk is an earth sign gentleman, or showing as an earth sign gentleman, she's been drugging him as well. She's definitely been drugging some guy. Which is strange because she's back with that woman, isn't she? What's her name? Eve Barlow. Anyway, so I hope that was one of your questions. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm having an amazing day today. I've just recorded the royal one. I've just recorded this one. I'm going to be doing at least another one because I've got so many questions on the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard thing. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as me. I hope that answered your question if you left me a question. If it didn't answer your question, it will be in the next video. I'm sorry I didn't put these in order of preference. I just put them in any order I could. So I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question in that video. It'll be in the next one. So I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!